Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I want to talk about a couple of things. I shouldn't be showing you this just yet. That'll probably be tomorrow news. But the coronavirus, as you can tell by the map that you should be able to see, it is hitting the world's commerce hard. It is hitting the world's markets. Even in the United States, New York heavily impacted, more so in coming weeks. The UK's hammered, Germany's hammered, Italy's hammered, Iraq, and then of course China. Of course, China area over here. Even Australia's touched, Hawaii's touched, little New Zealand's touched. Odd. Nothing in Greenland as of yet, and Antarctica. This is the future. We have warned you on the show about the dangers of President Trump being removed and Mike Pence being installed. Corona might be just the very tool to achieve that end. And when that happens, my friends, it's not going to be a very good time. Rights will be stifled. Dissidents will be silenced. And you, my friend, will live their dream. This is what I want to talk to you guys about today. The benefits all students gain from LGBT or LGBT inclusive sex education. For one, this is totally sad because sex should be taught by the people who actually had sex to make the child. I mean, I think all parents are pretty well versed on sex and why you should or perhaps why you should not engage in whatever sexual activities you feel that you need to be engaging in. But to bring in this group, that only thing that ties these people together, it's not by blood, it's not by DNA, but it's by sexual fetish. It is by sexual behavior. That's the only thing that makes this group a group, all right? That's why you can have gays in the Asians, gays in the Catholic Church, gays in the Mormon Church, gays in the synagogues and temples. Because these people are all united, not by blood, but by the way they think and the way they behave. Now, some people can say, well, true, it's not by the way they think. Okay, then by the way they feel. Because love is nothing more than an emotion. And it can drive you to behave erratically. And it can drive you to behave tender and kindly as well. But let's see what they're saying on this show. And this is for educational purposes. We are having an intellectual chat concerning the meaning of sexual efficacy. Meaning, is it ethical to teach sexual behaviors to children? Or should that be something the parents see? Because when we talk about parents teaching their children about sex, guess what? Oops. The LGBTQBEB ABCD Skittles Rainbow Club typically are not parents. Now, there are a few bisexuals amongst them that actually goes from the booty to the vagina and back to the booty and then back to the vagina. Or there's some that goes from the vagina to the penis and back to the vagina and to the penis and back to the vagina. Whatever. But the vast majority of these folks, for whatever reason, forsaking the normal man-woman love dynamics. For whatever reason, whether they were molested as children or perhaps they're just attracted to the same sex or whatever the case may be, they elected to not participate. But in order to keep their sexual fetish rolling, they have to have new blood. They're like vampires or perhaps even a werewolf. They have to scratch or somehow encourage others to participate in the same behavior. Or if not, their yolk would just simply die out because there's no breeding principles. So let's continue.
Largely due to the fact that no state explicitly mandates LGBTQ inclusive sex education curriculum. But of the fewer than 7% of LGBTQ students who did receive an inclusive education, research shows
Okay, here we go once again.
They were significantly less likely to miss class and more likely to have higher GPAs. We spoke with GLSEN education manager Becca Muyi about other benefits of teaching students about LGBTQ-related issues. What are schools around the country currently teaching students about LGBTQ plus related issues?
Hold on, let me pause this. I don't know what type of little meaning this tattoo here of hers is. I don't know. It's nothing obvious. Obviously, I see a pyramid with a cap on it, but this could be some sort of geometrical pattern, and maybe she's some sort of mathematical whiz. But she's rocking the Catholic girl short haircut, the old Catholic women, actually, old haircut. Obviously a lesbian. This one here might be, who knows, or just a CBS reporter. But the point is, once again, she does not want to be a mother, and which is totally cool. If you don't want to be a parent, don't be a parent. It's really just that simple. The only issue that really is why do you have to insist on bringing your ideology to people who's not trying to hear it? The people who don't want their kids infected, like with the coronavirus. Because we're all talking about behavior. This has nothing to do with genetics. It has nothing to do with the way a person's actually made. Because even, don't forget, every homosexual you see on the planet, or bisexual, or heterosexual, you see on the planet, except for those who were incubated in a test tube, come from natural sex. They came from a man laying with a woman, ejaculating inside of her, and her body taking that and making a baby. Taking that and nurturing it, or whatever you want to call it. But I would let these ladies continue. For one, I'm letting this thing, whatever. Hold on.
In their sex education.
Information about LGBTQ people, history, and events in schools. And
could that because there is no such thing as LGBT people? I mean, seriously, if we look at the word people, it means to be able to procreate like youngsters or offsprings. There's no gay. I mean, there's gay societies like the Greeks and stuff, but there's no gay people. No people that you can point to, oh, that's a gay. Because it's a behavior pattern. How come we don't have billionaires and millionaires come in our schools and teach the children how to critically think? Because ultimately it should be about school should be in the business of not persuading a child to engage in this sexual act or that sexual act, the school should be in the business of teaching the child how to critically think. So therefore, when they go out into the real world and take on their sexual adventure, they will be taking it on with a critical mind instead of, oh, I just learned that you can take two hamburgers and smack them together. Oh, I don't know. This is insanity.
That includes sex education. GLSEN research actually found that less than 7% of LGBTQ identified middle and high school students were being taught inclusive sex education in schools. This curriculum itself really varies from state to state. And
oh, hold on. I want to go back and see that sign. Hold on. Consent is, no means no. I'm shocked they don't have a little boy in this dress. I mean, just to really hit home. And look at this school hallway. It looks like a prison. It quite literally looks like an institution. This is it. We should ban all the schools just because of Corona, whatever, and give every child a laptop issued at the county, whatever, or the city hall. And they will go to school on the laptop or the computer device. And if they need one-on-one assistance, then we can have mobile vans with specialists go to the home. So therefore, even poor people will not be left out of the loop because they lack transportation or whatever. We can end the halls that churn out indoctrinated beings, and we can go to a more user-friendly, curriculum-specific approach to learning. But see, the educators don't want to hear that. Oh, did True just say do away with the schools? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Do away with them. You know, no more electric bills like this. Provide internet for instead of like. Hold on. Let's break this down real quick. Let's get out of this area. Let's break this down. Let's see the numbers. How much does public school spend on each student? Okay. Now you can see right here, state of Missouri, $10,000 per student, per people. Okay. Check this out. Check this out. They're even in Montana, 11,000. Nebraska, 12,000. Nevada, 8,000. Huge difference. And that's per child. That's per every student in that school. I say cut the parent a check for $7,000, and then you use the other percent of that to hire the best instructor that will instruct all the children via the internet. You will learn via the best, not this secondary chump teacher that has their own agenda. That way the parents can afford the internet, the parents can afford the computer. And that's each year. See, this type of talk is what gets grassroots started. Someone out here will see this production, grab it, own it, and push forth the agenda. Beautiful thing, technology. But now that we have the facts and figures in, we can show 48 more rows. I have no problem showing you guys statistical data. And this is coming from governing.com, government data. I gotta click some sort of bar to actually go to the site. I'm shocked this computer's running. Look at this. Alabama, 9,000. Poor kids. Alaska gets 17,000 per student. California, 11,000. Wow. Per kid. That's why these high schools can afford $1 million football fields instead of $1 million libraries or $1 million upgrades to books. This is where a lot of your athleticism. So basically, we're flipping the bill to train the next, Kobe Bryant or whoever, and the next musician too, to a certain degree. New Mexico, 9,000. Oklahoma, man, those kids are getting a pitiful 8,000. Tennessee, another 8,000. Vermont, 17,000 per. Vermont loves their children. You can tell by the type of money. Even Wyoming cares. 16,000. New Jersey, 18,000 per kid. Wow, this is fascinating. But yes, this is governing.com. You should be able to see all this stuff in the video now because of the screen action. This corner down here is being blocked by me. But this was 2016 numbers, so I'm sure that these numbers have fluctuated since then. But you got the right idea. Now let's go back to this. And look at this. Look at this bullshit. Spectrum. Thanking for. You know, you guys suck so hard, Spectrum. You do. I use your service, and people here can bear witness to how shitty and slow it truly is. All right, let's go back to this.
Itself really varies from state to state and even within districts. We also know that the individual educators in the classroom play a large role in the inclusivity of the curriculum as it gets to the students. And that's why it's so important to advocate.
Why don't we have inclusivity of like minorities in teachership roles? I mean, I'm looking at, you go watch, you're not going to see probably any woman of color in any authority position. So like Dr. Short said, all you pork chop feminists, there you go. Your children are going to be taught LGBT. So when your little baby boy that you put on a pedestal comes home and it's basically RuPaul Jr., and then your little girl comes home and she's basically Precious Jr. or whatever, all whacked down the head, is because of the fact that you elected not to do your duty, and that is to truly instruct. Parents, your job is not just to go to work and blah blah blah. It's actually to instruct the children on proper behavior and traditions and etiquette. It's not just about, oh well, they got a place to eat and sleep, boo boo boo, I'm done. No, that's not parenting. Now that's a part of it, obviously. You have to have a base of operations. But you are supposed to be the mentor. You're supposed to be the professor. You're supposed to be the doctor. You're supposed to be the ultimate expression of truth and wisdom for your child. Now, if you're incapable of doing that, hopefully you have someone in your family that can step up to bat. If you're waiting on these jokers up here in public education to do it for you, oh, you are so sadly mistaken. Let's see these benefits again from LGBT inclusive sex education curriculum. Let's see.
For inclusive policies around sex education at the state level, and also to ensure that educators have the professional development that they need.
And so what specifically do you believe should be included in national curriculum for high school and middle school age students?
Those students need accurate and
I would say she would believe in scissoring. She would want to teach the little girls how to do a proper scissor. Let her say whatever.
Inclusive education around sex education in order to make healthy decisions about their lives. A foundation for LGBTQ inclusive sex education at the middle and high school level includes talking about.
You know, she keeps on, or he or whatever, keeps on talking about LGBT like they're people, right? What is she exactly? Is she a lesbian? Is she a transgender chick, dude, woman, what, man, whatever? What exactly? See how biblical, and this goes back to just being a behavior. And there's something to be said for a group of people who have to indoctrinate children into their mindset. These people are on a warpath. How come we're not indoctrinating our children? Reparations are good. Reparation for black folks is what's needed to help mend and heal this country. That is what we should be about as U.S. citizens. Repairing the damage of the past. How come we're not doing that with the children? Because the people who are running the show are so criminal minded. They're so sick and twisted that they want to debase the minds of the children so that they can fulfill their fetish later down the road with the child. They're grooming the children to become basically prostitutes for homosexual, wealthy, middle class people that can afford to groom these children. This is why they don't want reparations. Because once you are economically viable, woman, then guess what? You don't have to tolerate this clown. You can actually go for the guy you really want. Once you're economically viable, melanated man and woman, you don't have to do desperate things to just make ends meet. Once you're economically viable, and this is even for the children, you don't have to have jealousy and feel inadequate or less than. But as long as those feelings and attitudes and behaviors are here, cemented in the foundation of the nation, then you're going to constantly get what you got. And it's a whole lot of nothing. Many of you don't realize this. In 6 months' time, your economic situations for the vast majority of people could be Thanos snapped away. What will you do then? Let's continue.
Bodies in a way that's not binary or just boy, girl, making sure that you're not assigning a gender identity to students that may not identify that way. And also just being able to...
Wow. It's like every second this chick talks, it's like, wow, you just see and hear the propaganda. Make sure you do not assign gender to boys and girls. So that way, the freak that wants to have their sexual fetish with these children later on down the road don't have to worry about, no, you're not a little boy, you're a little chick. Put on this dress. Oh, no, you're not a little chick, you're a little boy. Here, put on these cleats and baseball cap and a baseball bat or whatever. This is what, and guys and gals, this is just the beginning. Wait till I do a show about the benefits all students gain from bestiality inclusive sexual education curriculum. What? What? Do you hear some concerns yet? Do you see where this thing's going? You know, Mr. Ed, of course, is a perfect course. You know, you're not living until you're, kicking it with a chicken. You don't know what love is until you make love to a cat. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue about how, best friend, Blue is until you, have sex with a dog or donkey. This is where this is all headed, because we're always talking about behavior. There's no such thing as a bestiality people. And there's no such thing as a gay group, or not gay group, but gay people, lesbian people. There's no such thing. Yes, there are people who are gay. There are people who are lesbian. There are people who are into bestiality. There's people who are into pedophiliality. There's people who are into, antaunatons, the robots. I mean, it won't just be a matter of time before sexual robot manufacturers like, hey, hold up. Let's send in reps into the schools and teach the children about the benefit of robotic inclusive sex education curriculum. In other words, you'll be teaching kids, little Bobby, don't save up for that big old 4x4 truck. What you need is this sex box. She's an anime ready to play. And these little poor kids will be sitting there spending their nickels and dollars and credits or whatever Tinder we're using at that time to purchase these sex bots, because they've basically been brainwashed to believe, hey, if a man can love, woman and woman can love, a man and donkey can love, a woman and horse can love, well, why can't I love my robot? And then the next step, it's going to repeat itself. There's going to be gay robots. And then it's going to be lesbian robots. And then it's going to be little children robots. Very sick world. Because we're not being honest. We're not saying, hey, these are not people. This is a behavior. This is a mindset. This is a fetish. But it's supposed to be validated. Because the true history of LGTB history is one of brutality, shame, and bloodshed by heterosexual. Dad comes home and see his little boy being victimized by the next door neighbor. Somebody gets hurt. Mom comes home and sees her little daughter being molested by the troop leader. Somebody's gonna get hurt. And it's typically have been heterosexuals beating the hell out of homosexuals. And that's horrible. Just like as bad as the Salem witch trials. You have women who are basically witches because they don't want to submit to men. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And they want to use magic to compensate for their natural physical weakness. That's what it's ultimately about. When can humanity, or when will humanity finally wake up and say, look, there should be a certain code of ethics, and once you cross that certain code of ethics, then you have to be reprimanded or re-educated. But whatever two grown people do on the family tip should have nothing to do with the money or legality. In other words, a lot of the social problems that we have is because people, being people, want to rule other people. Because most of our leaders are LGBT, or at least they crossed over, maybe in college days with the drunken frat parties, whatever the excuse is, because it's just an excuse, because they want to save face, because they know that, you heard about white black backlash or the African American backlash. There's no backlash like the heterosexual backlash, because heterosexual, once again, it's not a people. There are people who are heterosexual, absolutely. But heterosexuality is the only form of sex that generates life, baby. And without that, then this whole dog and pony show comes to an end. You might want to look at this as a PsyOps MK Ultra program, tempting, daring the young to be LGBT. Pretty fascinating. Let's continue.
To talk about a variety of relationship structures and sexual orientations. We also encourage sex educators at the middle and high school level to check in with their students, especially their out LGBTQ students, about what they need and what's missing from the curriculum.
And how can including this...
Now, if you look at this chick here, she hardly ever blinks. Now, I would say she's some sort of Native American because of her high cheekbone, or Asian. She's probably half and half, probably white and Asian. That's probably what's so weird about her. So she's like a Sulu / I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know, but she has a fighter's chin, that square chin. She comes from some fighting people. You can tell that by her physical makeup. Now this one over here, the more effeminate lesbian or whatever. She could just be a reporter. I didn't mean to say lesbian. It's just that when we're talking about LGBTQ XYZ, then all these things. But you can tell she's obviously older, wrinkly. A lot of makeup, hair extensions, but the wrinkles on the necks, and then all that gives that all away. This one here, probably late 20s. This one's probably 50s, maybe early 50s. Let's continue.
This LGBTQ plus related in school curriculum impact not only students who identify on that spectrum, but also those students who don't?
Inclusive curriculum is essential for all students. It's not just for LGBTQ identified people or people in that community.
Yeah, no. God, now they changed people in that community. Changing it up. So, no, it's a community. Yeah, so we're made up of all nations. We're just a community. Listen, a straight boy in high school don't want to hear about getting finger banged in the butthole. Just don't. A straight chick in high school don't want to hear about the joys of having her pussy licked on by another chick. Just don't. But to put these ideals out there, they're trying to sway anybody who might be on the fence. It really should be, wow, I didn't even notice that. Because when you think about it, it's LGBT. So that's lesbian, gay, bisexuals, and then transgendered. So it's women first. Check this out. It's women first. Then it's, I guess, gay only is men. So men must, I'm just breaking down what their word means. And then the bisexuals is both men and women. And then the transgender is both men and women. Wow, that is fucked up when you think about it. So chivalry's even right here in their deal. How come we can't be the gays first? Because they were the ones who came out with the thing, and then it should be the lesbians, and then it should be probably the transgender, and then the bisexuals should be at the very bottom because they don't know whether they're going to be, whatever. Hold on. My light just died. It's pretty odd. All right. Enough of that. Let's continue with their nonsense.
It's really helpful because all young people get a chance to learn that. They learn empathy.
How come the young people can't learn about the wealthy class of people? Or how come the young people can't learn about the laws that will probably, if they don't behave a certain way, I don't know, impact them immediately with incarceration? Why do the young people gotta learn about risky sexual behavior? Oh, it's not risky, true, if you use a condom. I don't know about all that. I think it's risky. Because in some twisted way, I think people have some sort of quaint view of sexual behavior. Like people are just gonna come in the room and not touch each other, suffer in certain places. No, that's not how that shit works. There's a lot of risky things gay people have to do by virtue because they have no choice, dare I say. Now the risk is what we're talking about are diseases. Like Dr. Short always says. You have all these men screwing each other in the behinds. All this fecal material being just like, I guess, passed around. And I even told you the story about the experience I saw firsthand out in San Diego. This is for the uninitiated. For those who never heard this story, it goes like this. Me and a group of friends went down to Balboa Park for an afternoon of just, hanging out, chilling. Down in that area, there was a little sandwich store. It was like a gas station, but without the pumps. It was just, you find stuff you see, oil and little expensive aspirin tabs and stuff, but they had a little sandwich shop in there. The guy doing the sandwich was obviously a homosexual. I mean, this coming from the Midwest, where back then, now this was in the 90s, back then, you really didn't see that. Not saying that we didn't have the cross-dressers and homosexuals back here. Of course they did, but they just weren't so, I guess, comfortable expressing that, which is good. No one should be scared to express whomever they are. Even a pig fucker should be able to come out and say, "Hey, I fucked Porky Pig and I'm proud of it." Right? Doesn't that make sense? Well, anyhow, me being me at the time, totally different person. I elected not to eat. I'm like, I'm not eating their food. I could sense, my body could sense something was wrong with the whole situation. My friends weren't so lucky. Yeah, we get those bean sprouts. I saw, dude. Put them sandwiches together, gave it to them. Later on that night, they all got sick. Every last one of them. There's 5 of us. Every last one of us. Them got sick. Not me, but they did. I was the 1 out of 5 that did not get sick because my behavior was radically different than theirs. I elected not to eat the Skittles prepared sandwich. So I didn't get the Skittle critters, whatever it might have been. Like I said, people, you better wake up, man. People doing things with their hands, and you going up here talking about, oh, let's go to filet mignon and eat like we're somebody special. And that dude's up there straight being nasty as hell. Picking his ass, not washing his hand. He don't give a fuck. You guys don't care about him. And so to me, he has put on that little hat and little apron. Go in there and cook up something. Yeah, he's cooking up something. A biological recipe for sickness. That's what he's cooking up. And I bet you if you ever really did, and this is for you researchers out there, you ever really did a research paper on people who eat out and you look at the type of diseases you get, you're going to probably see a lot of fecal-borne illnesses. Because in the fast food world, baby, boogers and cum and shit are flowing like rivers. So you go in there with your little pissy attitude. You go in there and you get the reputation of not being a tipper and all that. You're going to be dining on snot, feces, and human protoplasm. If you're lucky, could be animal. Anyhow, let's continue.
And respect for all.
LGBTQ plus present. Where should it begin?
So as an intentionally K-12 organization, GLSEN understands that these conversations need to begin in elementary school.
Whoa, did you hear her? Elementary, yo. Your little elementary son or daughter needs to be exposed to the beauty of anal procreation. If there's even a thing. What you gotta do, give birth to Mr. Hanky? Howdy ho, yow. Come the fuck on. No, what it should be, the LGBTQHIG community should have babies of their own and teach their babies the joy of vaginal sex or Peter sex or whatever the case is. It shouldn't be taught in school. It should be an individual journey. And that's what sex truly is. Now, if you want to remain abstinent, which is obviously the best course, and people, oh, that's not possible. That's a lie. Just as it was possible for the slaves to be free, it's possible for the descendants of slaves to get reparations. It's also possible for you to be abstinent until you find the one who's right for you, whether it be male, female, a dog, a donkey. You know, don't you think the cat would appreciate that you never had sex with another cat or human before you had sex with it? Don't you think that, you know, the robot sex doll would, if it's capable of these thoughts, would be appreciative that you chose not to give up your body to a human, a dog, a rat, a pig, a snake, and you chose just to be one man, woman, and machine in beautiful, blissful passion and heat. We're all, you know, I can't wait till someone wakes up, or not wakes up, but says they were born desiring to fuck a tailpipe on a 57 Chevy. You know, it's like, I was born attracted to cars. I get around a crank, a gear shank grab. I can't control myself. It's obscene after you think about just how wicked this woman is right here. elementary. Let's not teach the children about laws. Nope. Let's not teach the children about making money. Nope. Let's not teach the children about critical thinking. Nope. But let's teach them how to suck a dick, eat a pussy, stick a finger in a butthole. Disgusting as fuck. Let's continue.
I was an elementary school teacher for 10 years before coming to work for Glisten, and I've had these conversations.
Then that was the problem. This chick has already been a teacher. I wonder how many kids she's touched. I mean, up here, of course.
About LGBTQ identity and families myself with children as young as kindergarten. These conversations around sexual health education.
Parent, would you have a problem with this chick talking to your kid about sex at 5 years old? Would you have a problem with this woman with this tattoo? God knows what it really means. And if that's even a chick, would you have any problem with her talking to your baby? Mamas, I'm talking to you. Women who those babies came out of your pussy. You give that baby over to the schools and this woman's talking to your baby at 5 years old about eating pussy. Would you have a problem with that? Or would you be cool with that? That's the real question. And don't come at me with no bullshit. Come at me with the real answer. Would you have a problem with this woman talking to your baby at 5 years old about whether they should spit or fucking swallow? Please. Fucking sick as fuck. Let's continue.
At this age, really focus on making healthy decisions and respecting boundaries and building healthy friendships.
And what would you then say to parents who argue that they don't want their kids learning about the
She don't give a damn.
community at school?
Look at this. Look at the smirk on her fucking face. She don't give a rat's fucking ass. That just got her wet if she is a chick. She just got moist. She don't give two fucks. She's like, I hope they get fucking mad. Those peasants don't matter. Because she is condescending and arrogant. She believes she is smarter than the parents. And I guess in many ways she is, because she's gaming the system to get access to the children. And you can tell this reporter, she knows the game. But she knows who's signing that bill. CB to the S. So she ain't going to put up too much of a fight, because these people would crush these people. And many of these people are these people, the CEO at CBS and all that. Not saying that they're gay, but I'm saying that a lot of the office workers types are bisexuals. Yes, they'll have the wife, the children, the beautiful home, the mansion, the travel. But guess what? They'll go down to the ghettos, or they'll go down to the trailer park and they'll buy some Peter, or they'll buy some vagina. That's the game, y'all. That's what it's all about. It's all about having enough money so when it comes to sexual issues, you can be like the lesbian, smirking with this quiet smirk. And you can be like the reporter over here who realizes, fuck, why did I even choose this program today? I have grandbabies. I have babies. And this troll chick wants to get her hands on your beautiful daughter and ravages her. That's what it's about. And this, as you can see, came out April 28th, 2019, the year of our Lord. So it's almost a year. So these people been at it for well over 15. I think like 2001 is when they started out there in California. I just wanted to give you guys something to think about. It's the coronavirus. And I think there's more people affected by this than you know. And we should stop calling this the coronavirus. Let's call it what it is. This is what's wiping out the baby boomers. All the baby boomers are getting hit hard. A lot of the deaths are the elderly. Baby boomers. What a world. What a world. Well, at any rate, Let's do this like this. This is going to conclude TPIM. That's our live for today. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. I want to thank you all for watching. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. And as always, brothers and sisters, please, 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 let's try to be kinder to one another. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect, liberation. I'm out.